Okay, that wasn't too bad, but we're gonna, I got hot tea today. Hot tea, hot tea. It's Lunar. Have you ever felt a little more restless during a full moon, or felt a deep urge to curl up and hibernate when the sky is at its darkest? For thousands of years, humans have looked up at the night sky and felt a connection to the moon's rhythm. But in our modern world of electric lights and 24-hour schedules, we've lost touch of that ancient clock. But what if I told you that simply paying attention to the full and new moon cycle could be one of the simplest tools to improve your health, sleep, and mental clarity? Wagwan, folks. I'm your girl, Tamika G, nurse, herbalist, and holistic wellness consultant, and I'm bridging the gap between health and wellness. Today, we're diving deep into the lunar cycle. We're going to separate science from superstition and look at how you can use the new moon and full moon as a practical toolkit for your well-being, along with some herbs for this cycle and which area of the body to focus on. I'm really excited for this video because we have a full moon on Tuesday, and I'm excited I can actually be excited for a full moon because being a nurse, no longer working in the hospital setting, if you know, you know. Night shifts on a full moon is no joke. Everything that can go wrong literally goes wrong. And I'll get into that a little later. Whether you're a skeptic or a spiritual seeker, stick around. By the end of the video, you'll have a new way to check in with yourself twice a month. But first, current sip status. In preparation for the upcoming full moon, I have some peppermint, ginger, and lavender tea. I am a mint girl. When I go out or order tea, it will always be peppermint tea, black. Unless I go for sushi or an Asian restaurant, then it's going to be green tea. But I haven't done that in the last 6 years since being vegetarian. So peppermint all day, every day. It's refreshing, cooling, minty. It's good for headaches, menstrual clarity, stress, and congestion. Ginger is your anti-inflammatory and immune support. So fall and spring are usually the two seasons people tend to get sick the most. So add some ginger in your life. It's also good for morning sickness, motion sickness, all the sickness. And again, ladies, it may help in reducing pain from menstrual cramps. Lavender. I love the taste of lavender. I personally would say it's like a tangy taste. It's definitely not sweet, but I wouldn't say bitter. Well, at least to me. Lavender is great for stress and anxiety, mood enhancement. Similar to peppermint, it can smooth upset stomach, reduce gas, and minor aches and pains. Its sedative properties helps with insomnia, so it's really good to have before bed. But I like it in the day. God. So let's start with hard science, or at least leading theories. First, gravity. The moon's gravitational pull is strong enough to move our entire oceans, creating high and low tides. The human body is made up of about 60% water, and it can go as high as 80% in some cases. If the moon can do what it does to the ocean, what do you think it's going to do to you? Some researchers theorize that just as the moon pulls the tides, it might create a subtle biological tide within us. This is most often discussed in relation to sleep. So based off of studies in Switzerland, it has been suggested that around the full moon, participants took longer to fall asleep and had reduced deep brain activity related to restorative sleep. Now, the effects might have been small, but it's still measurable. Personally, I worked on a respiratory unit for about 5 years doing day and night shift, and I kid you not, every full moon, something went wrong. Patients who weren't usually confused were extra confused. Those who had dementia, it was like, what is going on? It always felt like the hospital was being turned upside down. And I remember the ladies never wanted to acknowledge the full moon, as if it would jinx the night, kind of to say out of sight, out of mind type of thing. And it would literally just be for that night. The people working the day shift, nothing. I'm literally still traumatized from night shifts on a full moon. This is another reason I want to talk about this because I have firsthand experience from a healthcare professional standpoint of how the full moon affects people. Second, there is the issue of light. For a long, long time, the full moon was a major source of light at night. For our ancestors, a bright full moon meant that they could be active longer as it suppressed melatonin naturally, which is, again, that sleep hormone. Nowadays, our screen floods our eyes with blue light all night, every night, drowning out the moon's subtle effect. But acknowledging this natural cycle reminds us to be mindful of our own light exposure. We should be putting down the phones to let our natural biology take over from time to time. But for many people, the real power of the lunar cycle isn't just gravitational, it's psychological and emotional. It gives us something we desperately need in the digital age: a natural rhythm. There are 8 phases of the moon, but in this video, I'm only going to be breaking down the 2 main phases and how they can act as a mirror for your inner world. So first, the new moon. Think of the new moon as the winter of the lunar cycle. The sky is dark and it's the time of rest and going inwards. It's like the seed underground before it sprouts. This is your time for introspection, for seeking intention, for asking yourself, what do I want to cultivate in this coming weeks? It's not about frantic goal settings. It's about planting a seed. It's also the perfect time to journal, meditate, pray, and rest if you feel tired. Then 2 weeks later, we have the full moon. So if the new moon is winter, the full moon is summer. It's bright, energetic, and illuminating. It's the harvest. This is when things come to light. Emotions run a little higher or wild, and things that have been hidden become clear. This is the time for release. If you've been holding on to stress, bad habits, or grudge, the full moon is a perfect permission slip to let it go. It's also time for gratitude and celebration for what you've achieved. Release what no longer serves you. It's no coincidence that people often report feeling more emotional or awake during the full moon. It's literally peak energy time and where things come to light. So because the full moon is coming up, at the full moon, you can do one of 2 things. Write down the things that are weighing you down, the stress, the arguments, the fears, and perform a symbolic act of release. You can tear a paper up or pray for guidance to help you release the burden that does not serve you. The physical and spiritual act of letting go is incredibly cathartic for the brain. You can also just put a reminder for your phone for the full moon and new moon. And when that pops up, ask yourself 2 questions. 1, how do I feel right now? And 2, what do I need? I would recommend writing them down so you can see your own patterns. You might notice you feel more creative at the full moon or more introspective at the new moon. Building that self-awareness is really important. This full moon is to bring awareness and love to your digestive tract, pancreas, and small intestine. And we will be doing that with 5 herbs that are really good for your gut. We're going to explore why they work and how we can weave them into your everyday life. So our first herb is ginger, the fiery root. Its primary gift is waking up the sluggish digestive system, relieving nausea, and getting things moving. But ginger's magic isn't just about heat, it's also about kindling. Good digestion starts with a strong digestive fire. Without it, food sits heavy, nutrients aren't absorbed, and fatigue sets in. Therefore, ginger should be a part of your morning ritual. The best way to use it: grate a thumb pea size of fresh ginger, steep in hot water for about 5 to 10 minutes for a gentle tea. Take it 10 minutes before a meal. Just a quick tip, never boil ginger because you'll lose all that good oil. Next is peppermint, famous for easing cramps, bloating, and irritable bowel syndrome. But its power is deeply connected to the gut-brain axis, which is the direct link between your belly and your emotions. Stress, anxiety, tension can lead to knots in your digestive tract. And y'all don't understand that stress is literally the root of all evil when it comes to your body and biology. Therefore, peppermint works as a nervous system negotiator. It tells those cramped muscles to relax and sends a calm signal back to your busy mind. Best way to use: sip it warm. Weak peppermint tea after a meal for acute bloating is good. 1 to 2 drops of high quality peppermint essential oil in a carrier oil. Massage clockwise on the belly. That can be also profound. It's also not really good for severe acid reflux. Just a tip. Third is slippery elm. This gentle healer, when your digestive tract feels a little raw or inflamed or even burned from heartburn or colitis, this herb acts as a first aid miracle. Holistically, it's about providing the condition for your body's own repair crews to do its work. It's the peaceful silence after the storm. Therefore, you should turn to slippery elm when there's acute irritation. It's not an everyday tonic, but it is good for when you need it. Best way to use it is to mix 1 teaspoon of powder into a small cup of cool water and then add a little bit of warm water. Drink it slow and away from all meals and supplements because it can affect absorption. Fourth is fennel, which is the harmonizer. It may be used for gas, bloating, and that stuck feeling in the middle of your abdomen. But fennel's true role is about balance. It's a regulator. It's neither heat or cold for the body, and it allows the nutrients to be absorbed into the small intestine. Best way to use is to crush the seeds and make a light tea for after meals. Finally, we have dandelion root. Dandelion root is bitter, but interesting fact. So we've actually been buying raw honey from our local market, and I recently started getting the one that's infused with dandelion root because of its great properties. And I personally find it much sweeter than the original honey we used to buy. And the lady at the market told us prior to buying it that most people actually don't like that type because it's not as sweet as the original and it has that bitter taste. But I don't know, maybe my palate's just weird. I honestly feel like it's a lot sweeter. But anyways, this bitter herb is the supreme tonic for your liver and pancreas. And in our quick fix world, we've forgotten the power of bitters. The taste on your tongue triggers a reflex that releases bile from your liver slash gallbladder and enzymes from the pancreas. These are the essential fluids that break down fats and proteins. Therefore, if your digestion of rich foods is poor or you feel sluggish and congested, dandelion isn't just working on the gut, it's supporting the vital organs above it. So we have ginger to ignite, peppermint to soothe, slippery elm to protect, fennel to balance, and dandelion root to deeply support and release. Start by listening to your body's story. Is it asking for fire, coolness, protection, balance, or a deep cleanse? You don't need to have all the herbs at once. And honestly, you might not even need any of them, depending on what your body is telling you. The thing about holistic health is that it's not a one size fits all, and what works for someone might not work for you. And the general consensus may be horrible for you as well. So this is why I stress listening to your body, talking to a professional, and if something doesn't feel right, then don't do it. It doesn't matter how healthy or good for you it might be or others make it sound. Everybody's body is different, and the only expert of your body is yours. Yes, the information is there. It's everywhere. So proceed with caution. Your gut is not just a tube, it's an inner ecosystem, a second brain. Tend to it with wisdom and it will talk back. Remember, be kind to yourself and others. As always, peace and love always. This was like the longest video.